Hello Cancer, welcome to your weekly tarot reading here on Dove and Serpent Tarot. This is for the week of December 4th through December 10th. Please like, comment, and subscribe to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. I really can't believe it's been another week already, but let's get into it and see what this week has in store for us. What is the message coming through for Cancer? Well, we got the Lust or Strength card, the 11th mystery of the tarot. Let's lay out the rest of our Dove and Serpent spread. And that is going to include a mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. We're going to put that right over there. We're not going to look at that until the very end of the reading, so stick around until the end. And that will hopefully tie the reading together or, give us that confirmation that we are looking for. So we see a couple of major arcana cards. We see some air, we see some fire, we see some water. What we don't see is a whole heck of a lot of earth. Now, the earth that we do see is this Hierophant card, which is rules the sign of Taurus. And we also have this Lust or Strength card, which rules the sign of Leo, right? And so we have this fire and this earth kind of juxtaposition, right? This flow, maybe. So I think the issue really this week is how are we going to be manifesting this passion, this lust, right? into our practical lives, into our relationships with people, into our experience of the larger world around us. Okay, how are we going to bring our own creativity, our own passions, our own fire, our own spirit and soul into our daily lives, into our routines, into our workplace, into our hobbies, our home life, into our associations, into the groups of people that we associate with, right? How are we going to do that? How are we going to bring that fire down? Okay, it seems like kind of a lofty, philosophical kind of question or reading today, but there's a lot more cards here. I think there's a lot of practical aspects to this. There are a lot of factors, I think, that are going to be affecting how we're going to be utilizing this creativity, this passion, right? This lust, this strength, and how we're going to be expressing it into the outer world, into the, the life that we live, okay? So this may not be a reading about relationships, but there is a place for relationships in the reading, okay? And we will get to that. The first relationship that I want to talk about is this issue that is still lingering from the past. Okay, this is an issue that hasn't really been dealt with yet. And this, I don't know that this is a water sign person. This card is the Prince of Cups, but I don't think this is necessarily a water sign person in your life, right? I think this is an issue in the past with somebody being dishonest with you. I think you've been lied to in the past. You've maybe been cheated on. You've maybe been misled, deceived. Someone has lied to you. So, and that in a hurtful way, right? Someone who is very close to you, probably a romantic partner, could be a close friend or family member. But there was some dishonesty there, and that dishonesty kind of hurt. Okay, with the Prince of Cups here, it's an emotional situation. It's somebody close to you. And with the Prince here in that suit, I'm getting this feeling like there was some deception going on. There was kind of like a secret life being lived that you discovered, or some kind of a, I don't want to say a deep, dark secret, but something along those lines, right? Something that was being kept from you, being hidden from you. And it's almost like one day you discovered that this person was not who they claimed to be, was not who they pretended to be. Because the Prince of Discs has a very friendly, very cheerful kind of outward persona or personality. Someone who is probably quite charming, probably really is able to, to light you up emotionally, right? Someone who has that kind of charming ability, But there was something about them that you discovered that was just not harmonious with you, right? Didn't resonate with your plans or your feelings. So there was some kind of a deception there. I don't know the specifics. I don't want to speculate. But there's something that happened that hurt you, that involved this kind of deception or this discovery of someone's true nature, and you really didn't like what you saw. Okay? And that's kind of, I think, that's the issue that's still lingering in your life right now. And I think that's why we see some of these other cards that we see around this kind of central question, or this central force, right? Is just bringing your true nature, your strength, your creativity, your passions, really bringing that into your life and manifesting it, okay? Expressing who you really are. But I think this past relationship hurt you. I think this past relationship hurt you, and it has led to this feeling of this Five of Swords feeling, this kind of, you were kind of defeated by that. It really deflated you. It kind of severed your hope, maybe a little bit. It kind of turned you inward a little bit more, made you a little bit more of an introvert, maybe. It kind of is giving you this pessimistic attitude, right? I'm really feeling, with the Five of Swords here, I'm really feeling like almost a cynicism, right? But definitely kind of a pessimistic vibe, where you want to express yourself, you want to be who you are and be creative and let this fiery energy kind of shine into your daily life, right? Into the outer world. You want to express yourself. But at the same time, you're not trusting the rest of the world, right? There's like a general cynicism or lack of trust here, where it's almost as if everybody is going to try to knock you down. So it's a deeper mistrust now. And I really think that it's stemming from this a little bit, or maybe a lot, right? Because this seems like it's an important issue it's still lingering. And I think that's what is kind of what's preventing this from taking place, right? This creative expression, this manifesting of who you really are. And it's also why this is so necessary now. This has to be done. And these are major arcana cards. This is a heavyweight influence. This is a lot of energy, a lot of force. And this is something that the universe is requiring of you. You are being asked, in a way that you really can't say no, to be who you are, to be you, to fully accept yourself, to fully express yourself, to become who you are and who you're meant to be, right? That sounds kind of philosophical, and I apologize for that. But I think this is, because of these other cards that we see, I think it's very crucial that right now you do this, that the focus has to be on this so that you can overcome whatever this issue, whatever this event was, and so you can start to change the way you perceive the rest of the world with this kind of mistrust. And it's justified. I don't blame you. But I think this is preventing you from really being who you are, from really feeling comfortable expressing your creativity, expressing your magic, right? Expressing this 11th mystery of the tarot. This passion, this lust, this force and fire, this, a real ownership of who you are and what you're all about, and of your energy and your creativity. And manifesting it on this plane in terms of our daily life, in terms of the physical world around us, okay? There's a deep mistrust of things. It's kind of a general pessimism, like I said, a cynicism, a lack of trust, right? I don't want to say paranoia, but it's just that you're kind of leery of everybody else, and I don't blame you. So I feel like that is kind of the main issue that has to be dealt with is, of course, whatever happened here, but I think that was the event, that was the trigger that led us to this Five of Swords, this deeper, more generalized mistrust of everyone, of reality, kind of, in a way, And then beneath the surface, we see also this Ten of Swords. And now this is important because this is something that's influencing you more unconsciously, something you may not be aware of. And this is that fear of kind of every relationship that you have kind of turning to shit, kind of just being ruined, just devolving, being destroyed, crumbling, right? Ending in a bad way. And this is something, again, that's beneath the surface. It's an unconscious fear of this kind of failure. It's almost like you've already doomed every relationship to being just not good, right? Or to ending abruptly, or to just not working out. It's that pessimism again, right? But it's that unconscious conviction almost that every relationship you have is going to be terrible, that it's not going to work out, it's going to end badly, it's going to be just a disaster, right? And so in some way, if your subconscious or your unconscious believes that, it's kind of going to come to pass, right? So it's almost that self-fulfilling prophecy. Okay, 10 of Swords here, beneath the surface. What we see in the immediate future is, this could be taken a different way. This might be a little bit more optimistic. This is the 10, but a 10 of Wands. So this is not the fear of your relationships failing or being ruined or being destroyed, right? That self-fulfilling pessimism. But with the 10 of Wands, this is an expression of your fiery energy, right? This is that creativity that we're talking about, this kind of just this generous spirit, this outward flow of your fire, of your creativity, right? Taking that risk, taking that chance, and expressing yourself. This is also at the same time this, not warning, but this kind of a double-sided message here, because this is, like I said, on the one hand, this is that expression. This is that outward flowing of that fiery energy into the earth plane, into the external world, the outer world. But this is also saying that if we don't do that, if we keep all of this fiery energy channeled inward, this is the fire that's fueling the rest of these cards, right? These kind of troublemakers that we're talking about here, right? So if the fire's not going outward and it's being kept inward and kind of, repressed a little bit, that is what is fueling all of that pessimism, the cynicism, that self-fulfilling kind of disaster prophecy. Okay? So that's what I mean when I say that this energy is going to come out, it's going to flow whether you like it or not. It's going to manifest. You're being asked to express this energy, and you really can't say no to it, because it's there already. It's going to happen. It's going to manifest in some way. But it's up to you whether that's going to be an outward flow in a constructive, creative way, a very generous kind of interpersonal way, right? And that involves a little bit of trust, a little bit of faith. Or is this going to be still continually rejected or repressed, and then it's going to turn inward and it's going to wreak havoc inwardly in your psyche and maybe in your physical body through the feeling of tiredness, fatigue, exhaustion, right? Because it's going to take a lot of effort to keep all of this fiery energy contained, right? It's really going to take a lot of work. Mental, emotional, physical. And it's going to be draining, I think. So it's almost like, this 10 of Wands has the potential to really continue to dam up this creative impulse, this energy, this spiritual flow, right? But it also has the potential to release this out into the world and kind of fulfill this injunction that we're receiving to manifest this magical power, this creativity, right? Really create who you are, really become who you are, And again, that sounds so, abstract or mystical or whatever, but I think it's important. I think it's important that you express yourself and get away from these habits, these tendencies. These swords, these air cards are, they're the tools, right, that you're using to keep that fiery energy blocked up. So we have to learn to use different tools, right? We have to learn to put these tools down, right? get them out of our toolbox altogether, really, and to accept some kind of new method, right? And it may just come down to courage or kind of a surrender to this spiritual energy, this creative force and fire, and just kind of trusting that to flow, right? What I see on the path of the serpent here, now we're going to move over to these other cards. This is your general energy right now. This is that sun card. This is the sun that rules Leo, the lust card, right? So this is kind of, this sun card feels really right at home in Leo, like illuminating this card, fulfilling this energy, fueling this activity, this creative expression, this lust, this strength, this magical force that you have. It's coming from this sun card, okay? So we have the sun in Leo, and I think that's just a really beautiful placement for the sun, right? It's in its own domain, its own kingdom, right? Its own house. So this is your general energy. So I really feel like you're ready for this, or you've been trying maybe to do this, to be yourself, to express your creativity, to get away from these swords. I think maybe none of this is new information to you. I think you're probably saying, yeah, Paul, I've been trying to do that for a while now. And I'll let you in on a little secret. I'm a Cancer too, and this is resonating with me. This is something that I've been trying to do for a long time. Express my creativity. Be who I am without worrying about what other people think or whether people are kind of with me or against me, right? Just trying to get away from these swords, this negative thinking, this kind of putting myself down, this lack of self-esteem, just this negative self-talk, right? These swords have got to go. But I think this has been on your mind a lot too. And I think you've been making efforts to really let this sun shine. And this sun is who you are. This is your radiant soul. This is your creativity. This is your spiritual solar energy that is manifesting through or being expressed through this house, through the Leo house, through the lust or strength, through the 11th mystery of the tarot, okay? So I think it's something that you've been making efforts to do. I think it's something that you consciously know you need to do, you want to do, you're trying to do, you're making efforts to do that, okay? And it may not be easy. It may be maybe good for a few days and then something happens and it kind of sets you back. That's okay. The sun is always shining, even in the darkest nights, right? The sun is still ablaze, still full force. Even now, in winter, at least on the northern hemisphere, we're getting into the really cold, dark days. The sun's still there, still shining, still just as hot and bright as ever, okay? But it's cyclic. It's there's some ebb and flow in our relative world here. And so it may be a struggle. It may be a couple steps forward, then a step back. A couple more steps forward, then a step back. But I think you're working toward this manifestation, this expression, right? And this could be really creating this life for yourself, or like putting your creativity into a business, right? And with a business, there are any time really that we share our creativity. Like take this tarot reading, for example. I'm sure there are going to be some people that give it the thumbs down, right? That are going to let me know that they dislike the video. Might even get some negative comments. But that is the nature of creative expression, right? If you are expressing yourself creatively through your creativity, what I was trying to say, and you're sharing it with the world, which is what we kind of get with this Hierophant card, right? You're manifesting it and you're sharing it with the world. You're not going to please 100% of the people, right? If everybody likes it, it's probably crap. Don't quote me on that. But what I'm trying to say is that there's always going to be some people that have different opinion, right? And that's the beauty of the world. Everybody has different tastes. Everybody likes different things. Everybody is so unique that we don't want to please everyone, okay? Because then it means that we're operating at the kind of lowest common denominator. And we don't want to do that. We want to express our creativity. We want to express ourselves creatively utilizing this sun through its own house, and this is going to be an absolutely unique thing for everyone. Okay, but what I'm trying to say is that I think you're already on that path. Okay, I think your general energy is already thinking about that. You're already trying to do that. You're already probably starting that work, or you've been doing it for a while. But that's what the emphasis is this week. All right. Now, the next card we have is in terms of your relationships with other people. How do you relate to the people around you? What are your relationships like? I think you have a very strong support system. 3 of Cups here. Celebration, love, abundance, pleasure, satisfaction, a lot of affection, a lot of love back and forth. I think that you have a person or many people in your life that really are cheering for you, myself included. Really want you, they want to see you express yourself, to be who you are, to be comfortable in the expression of your magical energy, right? Your sun in Leo. And I think that it's difficult for us Cancers to do, for one thing. I think that Cancers a lot of the time seem to be very heavily moved by criticism or flattery, right? When people like our stuff, we get more enthusiastic, we get more confident, more energetic. When somebody doesn't like our stuff, we kind of go into that crab mode, right? And I think that's normal. I think especially for Cancers, I think it's just something that we have to try to deal with, recognize, and try to move past it quickly when that sort of thing happens. But I feel like you have a lot of cheerleaders on your team. Okay, there are a lot of people that love you and want to see you succeed. Want to see you not so much succeed, but express yourself, even if you fail miserably, right? Which you could. We all could. But the fact is that you're doing it. You're expressing yourself. You're being creative. You're utilizing your magical force. And I don't think there's really any kind of way to fail if you're doing that. If you're being true to who you are and really expressing yourself completely and fully, right? And it's a matter of knowing yourself, knowing what you're all about, not in terms of what other people are going to think of you or how they're going to react, right? Let's just forget about those sword cards for now. Let's forget about that air, right? Let's not worry about that. Let's just take this sun and let it find its house in that lust card, that strength card. Because there are a lot of people around you. I think you have really good relationships with your friends, your family, your lover, your partner, your person. I think it's very, very strong relationship, and I think they're very supportive of you. Okay? And I think that's very helpful. But there is also this obstacle, this worry, fear, concern, something that you have to overcome. And this is, again, this kind of almost paranoid tendency to think everybody is just like this person that did you wrong in the past, right? You kind of have that suspicion about everyone now. And that's what the moon card here is talking about on the one hand. This tendency you have to maybe assume the worst in everybody, maybe assume that people aren't being honest with you, maybe assuming that there's more to the story, and being a little bit on guard, a little bit defensive, kind of all the time, right? And again, that's kind of part of the Cancer nature. But I think this is something that we have to try to overcome, okay? And then this is also, because it's the moon, because it is a waxing and waning energy, it's confidence one day and it's kind of misery the next day, right? The loss of self-esteem the next day. And this is something that we have to get over. This being so moved by the flattery or the criticism, right? It's okay to feel good when people like our stuff and compliment us. But if then we turn inwards and we give up and we quit and we just refuse to do anymore when people criticize us, well then that's not being true to ourselves, right? I mean, that's kind of being accepting of our Cancer nature, right? But those are the more negative qualities of Cancer, I think. And it's something that I'm trying to work through, and I think it's something that you're trying to work through as well, is to always be this steady, shining, creative, just shining, radiant sun, even as the moon waxes and wanes around us, even as the interest in our work ebbs and flows, as the reception of our creativity waxes and wanes, right? So we're usually very influenced by the lunar tides, and I think this is the kind of obstacle that we have to get over. We have to kind of deal with this if we're going to move forward. But also, the moon rules Cancer. So I think while this seems like an obstacle that we have to get through, this is also what's giving us our strength, right? Because we're so in tune with the lunar tides, because we're so, we're kind of ruled by this ebb and flow, this up and down, this flow of things, this ebbing and this flowing of energy around us. We're so used to that, we're so in tune with that I think it will be more easy for a Cancer person to detach from that, to be more objective to that, to recognize this lunar influence for what it is, while we try to focus ourselves on the sun. Okay, focus on what is ever shining, ever bright, never fluctuates, never deviates, relatively. Instead of allowing ourselves to be just tossed about by the lunar tides. Okay, I hope that makes some sense. There's many layers to that moon card, especially for Cancer. But once that's recognized and accepted and kind of dealt with, the next card that we see is a court card, and this is a Princess of the Swords, right? So I don't think this is another person involved here. I think this is going back to these kind of negative functioning tools that we had, these swords, this negative thinking, this self-fulfilling kind of destructive prophecy that we have in our toolbox, right? Our kind of go-to tools for everything. This Princess of Swords is saying that we're going to start, once we get through some of this energy, once we get past some of this, we're going to start utilizing different tools, right? We're going to start to get to know some other tool in our toolbox that's going to help us to overcome the lunar tides, refocus on this sun. Okay, and I don't know what that is. I can't really tell you right now what that is in my life. I'd have to think about this probably a little bit more and find out what that new tool is. But the Princess of Swords, so it's a new way of thinking. It's a new kind of mental tool, right, that we can use to keep ourselves on track. And it's something that we have to get experience with, right? It's the princess. It's the still immature energy. We're not yet adept at using this new skill or new tool. We have to practice. And with practice comes a lot of, failure and a lot of kind of wanting to go back to the old tool, right? Because it was easier. But we just have to keep at it and we'll get better and better. And this will be our new comfortable tool that we can use. I hope that's resonating. I hope that making some sense there. It's giving me a lot to think about this week as well. But we're going to go now to this mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. I'm very happy that you stuck around to the end of the video. I know this one's getting a little bit long, but let's see what this mystery card is. What do I think it might be? Gosh, I don't know. It seems like we had kind of everything. We kind of ran the gamut here with the main reading. So let's just reveal it and see. All right, 9 of Cups. 9 of Cups. This makes me very happy. That's a little bit of a pun because the key word for the 9 of Cups is happiness, right? And I think this is a wonderful confirmation. For me, this is saying that, look, we're on the right track. We're doing the right stuff. And I think one of the keys, one of the things that's going to tie this whole reading together is that you have to really enjoy the journey, right? You have to look at this, all of these energies. There was positive, negative, there was light and dark, there was all sorts of things in the reading today. We have to recognize this as our pursuit of happiness, right? We're doing all of these things to fulfill our true nature, to become happy people, right? To be fulfilled. To have all 9 of these cups full of this love, water, pleasure, beauty, joy, happiness, right? And we're Cancer, we're water. We need that, right? We need the nurturing love, affection of things. We need to be emotionally and spiritually connected with the work that we're doing for it to be meaningful, for us to have any kind of interest in it at all, really. You know? So this is that confirmation that everything that we're doing, everything that we talked about and saw today is aimed at this. It is aimed at our pursuit of happiness. And this is the confirmation also. This is that kind of the missing key to all of this is that, look, you have to look at this, even in times of trouble and hardship and these obstacles, we have to look at it as being necessary for our happiness, right? So key word, I think, today, happiness and the pursuit of our happiness, striving for what really fulfills us. And I think that's the name of the game. Cancer, I thank you so much for letting me read for you today. This was really my pleasure, and I'm very happy that I could do this for you and for myself as well. If you want to stick around for the extended, you can become a member to this channel by clicking on the link down in the description box. This was your weekly tarot reading on Dove and Serpent Tarot for December 4th through December 10th, and I'll see you next week.